901 Shelby Drive, look alive, look alive. Came up on this side, now they on the other side. Oh well, fuck 'em, dawg, we gon' see how hard they ride. I get racks to go outside, and I split it with the guys. We up on the other side, niggas acting like we tied. I've been gone since.
Hello, thank you for joining us for the Top Dogs Dog Nation podcast. Let's start off by talking about some of the big things going on in San Diego High School football right now. And as I'm getting a text message from one of the fans, actually, let's take a look first at the two big transfers in San Diego High School football, the football scene last week. Both had major impacts in the open division, obviously. First, we take a look at Brock White's transfer to Madison. White comes from Madison to Madison from Moreno Valley, where he was the starting quarterback for Rancho Verde. Excuse me. Last season, he passed for over 3,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. And let's face it, Madison needed a quarterback to keep, up with the rest of the pack. They hope to be in the Final Four in the Open Division this year. With arguably the best tandem of running backs in Keenan Christian and Keontae Springs, most teams counted on loading the box and stop the run when they played Madison. But with the speedsters Jaden Durr, Daniel Stokes, and Tyson Gangstad stretching the field on the outside, then you add Brock White, defensive coordinators are going to have their hands full when it comes to figuring out creative ways to stop this explosive juggernaut. White brings them stability and accuracy in the quarterback position, which they haven't had, let's face it, since Terrell Carter left for San Jose State. This addition makes them, in my opinion, a legitimate contender for one of the Final Four Open Division playoff spots. The second big transfer was the departure of Krishan Gordon from Valley Center. The talented two-sport defensive back, track and football, immediately improves the secondary for the Grizzlies. He'll likely be the shutdown corner that replaces Mo Jones. This helps sophomore safety Jason Boyle secure that secondary for the Grizzlies. And he'll likely shut down the passing attack in many games, or at least slow it down. When Mission Hills plays San Marcos this year, look for Krishan to step up if the Grizzlies hope to slow down the Knights' trio of explosive wide receivers. This addition is much needed for the Grizzlies. Which brings us to topic number 2 tonight, and that's an update on the Chris Fatilua injury. An update, Chris, first and foremost, we'd like to thank the San Diego football community for their overwhelming support for the Fatilua family. We raised over $25,000 in a little over 26 hours. That is amazing, and you guys would be commended for your support for Chris. On June 26th, I had the chance to sit down with the Fatilua family and was encouraged by their fight and their spirit. Chris himself is in good spirits. Uncle Sainu and Suko Falo have really stepped up to help fill in the gap for the Fatilua family. Coaches Rick Jackson and Jorge Reyes are working tirelessly behind the scenes and playing a very big role in helping support the family and Chris. Chris left, Tuesday for a spinal cord injury specialist facility in Denver, Colorado. We wish him the best, and he'll be in our thoughts and prayers as he continues the next step in his recovery. Which brings us to our last event that happens actually this Saturday. At La Jolla High School this Saturday, head coach Tyler Roach is having the Battle of the Beach 7v7 tournament this weekend. It's a one-day tournament at La Jolla High School. Teams are specifically selected to play in this tournament to match skill sets so that these games will be more competitive. Games start at 8 a.m. and will run all day long. Each game is 40 minutes long. In the morning, there's pool play, and bracket play will be based on seeding and begin in the afternoon. Which brings us to the next part of our show where we talk about recruiting news and commitments. So, as you can see from the bottom, I'll go over all of these right now, but just wanted to bring you some of the latest offers and commitments of players here in San Diego. We'll start out with Morris defensive back Shamar Martin. Last week he committed to UCLA, as well as Helix linebacker Michael Shawcraft and Monte Vista running back Jamal McClendon have both committed to San Diego State University. El Capitan safety Chance Lobato has committed to Utah State, as well as Cathedral Catholic's long snapper Nathan Winetta committed to Big Ten school Purdue. Notable offers this week, or in the last couple weeks that have came up. We'll start out first at Lincoln. Don Chapman, the safety from Lincoln, received an offer from the University of Southern California. UC High School, Journey Smith and Casey Grandforce both received offers from USD. Bishop quarterback Tyler Buckner received an offer from the University of Pennsylvania, or Penn. East Lake offensive lineman Vincent Santos received an offer from Navy. San Diego High School had a trio of athletes all receive scholarships to Buena Vista University in Dominic Adkins, Eric Orfanos, and Charles Johnson. Another San Diego High School athlete, Jaden Wickware, received an offer last week from Montana State. And the last one on our list this week is San Diego High School running back Raiden Hunter, as he also received an offer from the University of San Diego. Those are some of your top recruiting news. Now, let's move on to the interview section. Let's introduce tonight's guest on the Dog Nation podcast. In 2016, he left Cathedral Catholic to join the Mission Hills Grizzlies. As a wide receiver playing in a run-heavy offense, he realized after one season that in order to get to the next level, he would need to change. Please join me in giving Mission Hills wide receiver Joe Smith a warm welcome to the Dog Nation podcast. Hi, Joe. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Obviously, it's Top Dog calling for the Dog Nation podcast. First of all, we want to thank you for being on our initial broadcast. And let's just jump right into the interview, if you don't mind. Question number one. So, last season, Joe, Mission Hills was the Jack Tuttle show. And this year, they have a much different look with Joey Armentrout at quarterback. What's it like catching passes from Joey Armentrout?
Jack Tuttle was an amazing quarterback last year. Great catching passes from him. But this year with Joey Armentrout, I feel like it's more of a comfort level, not so much a new experience for me, just because I went to Cathedral Catholic last year, and I've been catching passes from him since 9th grade. So we have a little bit of chemistry, and we're just trying to build upon that, and we should have a good season.
All right. Well, we can't help but notice you're wearing a premium shirt. That brings us to question number two. In the offseason this year, you decided to forego playing for one of the San Diego teams to play for an LA team. Explain that decision and what led to that.
I don't really feel like I left just because I was in San Diego every day and going to school, and the only difference was I would play with premium on the weekends. But as far as the reason why, it's because I have a conversation with my dad, and it was just to like build relationships and get better. And for example, like I could ask Mike Pittman, a receiver, for advice, or go against a DB like Max Williams in practice. And also Coach Fig also helped me and put me in the right direction and gave me some good advice.
Okay. Well, let's lighten things up a little bit. Are there any NFL or college wide receivers that you look up to or try to mimic your game that you really look up to?
As far as a college wide receiver, he's already in the pros now, but I'd have to say Tavon Austin, just because, for one, he's a playmaker, very fast, quick, agile. So hopefully when I work hard, I can try to model my game after him. And as an overall receiver, I'd have to say Antonio Brown, just because we're similar in the sense that we're smaller receivers. But, I mean, you can move Antonio Brown everywhere, and he's always going to get open, run great routes, fast, agile as well, too.
Very true. So let's change things up a little bit, bring it back to San Diego. If you can think about all the players you've played against over the years, is there one DB or a safety that you especially have to prepare for when you get ready to play them that week?
No, I don't think so. I don't really try to prepare myself for a certain DB or a certain matchup, because I feel like if I prepare myself and work hard, I feel like I'll be okay against any DB. And I feel like, if I work hard, I should be okay against any DB.
Okay. Well, we saw you in this offseason as well, besides the 7-on-7 in the football camp arena. I think we saw you at the Get Noticed camp. We saw you at other camps here in San Diego. What was the purpose of attending all those camps this year?
The purpose of that was just to put myself out there, because I have a good platform this year at Mission Hills, and just to let people know like who I am, and like I said, put myself out there, and to get a good sense of the competition in San Diego and see how I match up against.
So, being one of the premium wide receivers in San Diego, give us some of the other premium wide receivers that you look up to as well. Maybe your top 5, if you will.
I'd have to say Micah Pittman, Kyle Ford, Brew McCoy. Another one of my really good friends is Chris Hudson. I'd have to say those are the top ones.
Anybody in San Diego that you could think of as the top receivers?
I'm not really sure as far as like the top in San Diego, just because I haven't really done that much homework on them. But I know like there's a receiver at Lincoln, Chapman. I just received an offer to USC. I played with Zion last year. He's a good receiver. I go to practice and battle every day with receiver Quentin Hadnoff. So those are some of the top in San Diego from right now. But if you ask me to look in the future, I'll have a better answer for you.
All right. So right now, who's the most influential person or people in your life when it comes to football?
There's a lot of people that influence me as far as my life and in football. But I would have to say my dad, just because he's been there for me since day one. He taught me the game, and I learned a lot from him. And he also tries his best to make me maximize my full potential. That way I can prepare myself for the opportunities that come.
All right. So academia is important to a lot of colleges. What's your best subject in high school?
I feel like my best subject is anything science related, like a chemistry, biology, just because a lot of people in my family are doctors. So I feel like it kind of comes natural. So anything science related.
All right. Well, and our last question. If you could attend any college in the United States, give us your top 5 colleges that you would want to attend.
For top 5, I'm not really sure. But like I said before, I'd like to stay on the West Coast. So it'd probably be some colleges in the Pac-12, like not in particular order, but like a UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington. But I would also love to see like Ohio State and Michigan. Those would be some top schools too. But as time goes on, my opinion might change to the top 5, but I'll let you know later.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Joe Smith, wide receiver from Mission Hills. Joe, we thank you for taking the time for this interview tonight. We recognize talent when we see it, and we expect big things from you and the Grizzlies in 2018. Thanks for joining us, Joe, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you.
I get racks to go outside, and I split it with the guys. We up on the other side, acting like we tied.